The term yoga has become popular today due to the proliferation of yoga studios across the West. But the idea of yoga, as it has developed in these studios, is mostly about physical exercise. However, if we look at the term in the country of its origin, India, yoga is a whole range of disciplines that involve mind, body, emotions, will, and lifestyle to unite the fragmented nature of the personality and connect it with larger, universal, or transcendental forms or sources of consciousness. So, this is a very large range of disciplines that have been developed under the name or title of yoga in India. If we look at transpersonal psychology, we find that this is a province of psychology, a recent province which aims at expanding the understanding of the human subjective life and make it more complete in terms of rarer human experiences. These experiences include peak experiences, experiences of cosmic consciousness, or of impersonal forms of collective consciousness, or of paranormal experiences. Now, yoga has a lot to say about these things because the tradition of yoga includes or involves many such forms of consciousness that go beyond normal human phenomena and experience. So, if we think about yoga as an aspect of transpersonal psychology, we bring the disciplines of yoga under the scrutiny of psychology to form the discipline of yoga psychology. So, yoga may be thought of as a psychology in itself, both a psychology that gives us maps of the human personality as well as practices, in other words, a practical psychology that enables us to utilize these maps to arrive at a greater consciousness, a greater awareness, greater integration of the being, and the transformation of the personality. The means or methods used in yoga include methods of meditation, of breath work, of physical exercises, of envisioning, and of a variety of lifestyle changes that ultimately aim at giving the individual a connection with deeper and higher sources of certainty within themselves. We can tap into forms of our own awareness that are normally locked away from us, that go beyond the human personality of the moment and can give us access to past life or universal and cosmic ranges of consciousness that nevertheless belong to us. The maps of human personality are very complex, and we understand personality as something that is layered and has many different planes and parts to it that can allow us to get a handle on a whole person transformation, a transformative process for the entire person, so that there is an integrated sense of personality that arises from it. These are some of the effects of a yoga psychology. There is also the notion of the shadow. We think about the negative things in ourselves which form a kind of shadow that we carry with us. And in normal psychology, in analytical psychology, for example, we try to integrate the shadow. In yoga psychology, the idea is to understand the sources that project the shadow and transform them. Can they be transformed? Can the shadow be dissolved? These are possibilities that enter into yoga psychology, and our study of the archives of yoga psychology should give us new methods in that direction as well. Apart from the enhanced description of the human being that this affords us, we can find two practical utilities, or at least two practical utilities for a yoga psychology. For one, human beings find themselves in a world of problems. We are born into a world of problems. And the entire history of human civilization is an attempt to collectively address these problems and, if not solve them, make them better. So these aspects of civilized approach to the solution of human problems tackle it from the outside. We have social means, economic means, political means, technological means, and all these means are something that approaches the problems of human life. But if we look at the history of civilization, we find that though the specific problems of human life have changed and we've been able to address some of these problems, the nature of the human personality has not changed. We carry the seeds of these problems within our own psychology. And so, if we can address our psychology in such a way that there is a transformation of the psychology, then we can address these problems in a more effective manner. Yoga psychology is a way by which we can look at the entire field of yoga as an archive of possibilities to solve our problems using a deeper model of the human personality. The other aspect or area in which yoga psychology can be extremely useful is what is known as the human potential movement. The human potential movement is something which is a very important aspect of the modern culture, educational culture, with which this particular institute, the California Institute of Integral Studies, has been associated from the very beginning. Haridas Chaudhuri himself could be called as one of the pioneers of yoga psychology, and he was looking at this aspect of the enhanced possibilities of the human potential. Michael Murphy, who has been closely connected with CIIS, is one of the founders of the human potential movement. And so, if we think about what are the enlarged possibilities of human experience and human ability in the world, yoga gives us a very large scope of understanding to study the reach of these possibilities. So these are what we are going to study in this course on yoga psychology. We will take a historical approach and look at the various kinds of maps of personality and cosmic consciousness, cosmology and psychology. There is no difference because cosmology is also considered to be conscious. So we will look at these various maps that have been developed. We will look at the disciplines or practices that have been developed, and we'll look at the experiences and transformations that have been developed through the centuries in a variety of ways under the field of yoga in this class or course. I invite you to attend this course because I promise that it's going to be something that will enhance your understanding of the human being and give you a much greater access to what the human can do.